Welcome to the Fourth and Gold NFL podcast. The season may be over, but Paul and I are here to keep you involved, locked in on the NFL. Today we're gonna take a look at the Super Bowl, obviously, what unfolded, what's next for Seattle, what's next for the Patriots, and we'll dive into a few other stories and developments that have gone on this week. But there is only one place to start, Paul. Super Bowl 60. Quite an emphatic win, I'd say. What are your kind of post-game thoughts on the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl pretty much went how I thought it would. It was a little bit more dominant than I was hoping it would be because I was hoping for more of a contest as a spectacle, as a viewing event, as two teams going head to head in the championship. You would hope that the contests would represent the occasion. And Seattle almost just smelt blood and just went for the throat of the Patriots and kept being aggressive on defense and just kept sending guys. And like you could tell from pretty early, my guy Eamon Worry was not playing safety in this game. He was pretty much a default linebacker, and Weatherspoon was seemed to spend more time blitzing Drake May than he did covering Patriots receivers, and the multiple looks they were sending, and it wasn't just on clear passing downs. It was on early downs. It was on rushing downs. It was relentless. Like, what did they say? It was like 6 sacks. Uh,
Double-digit pressures.
yeah, and yeah. So How many plays were just destroyed? Like, not just the hits, not just the sacks, but how many plays were destroyed by the Seattle scheme? And yeah, it was a tough watch. I'm sure it was a tough watch if you were a Patriots fan. And they, I don't know how you can adjust. I've heard people say that maybe you could bring some tight ends on, add them onto the line of scrimmage and then to help the tackles. But I'm sure Seattle would have then adjusted to that and sent more guys through the middle of the line. I don't know, but yeah, it was hard for the Patriots. And but credit to Seattle. They knocked that NFC title game, as we both said last week or in the championship game week. We thought it would be the default Super Bowl, and it just proved to be. That was a truly great game that was worthy of a Super Bowl. And you just got to hand it to Seattle. Like they deserve to be champions this year. They had a completely dominant points differential. Their schedule was very tough. They came through the NFC West. Then they came through the NFC. They had their questions to be answered against the Rams. They answered them. Yeah, maybe lucky. You've got to have some luck along the way. I mean, the 2-point play and the Shaheed return touchdown. But, that's what happens. Like, it's like when you're playing against a dominant team like the Rams, you do need some fortune along the way. So, yeah, just credit to the Seahawks. But let's not overreact to, oh, the Seahawks are incredible and they're a dynasty. I don't like these American sports shows that come out straight away and go, well, where does this defense compare to? No, let's just celebrate them now. We don't have to stack them up against the 2000 Ravens. We don't need to do that. And we don't need to overreact and say, well, the Patriots and their schedule. Like I said it before the game that, objective Patriots fans would probably have wanted more of a test heading into that game. And yeah, they weren't ready. I don't know if you can be ready for that because that was relentless what that Seattle defense brought. But you love to see when a team just identifies a weakness and just goes, okay, right, we see you. You can't hide. You can't hide weakness on your offensive line, especially if it's concentrated on one side. And we're gonna come for you, and we're not worried about your receivers in the back end. And yeah, it was just relentless. And we called it as well. You've got to bring down Kenneth Walker at first, minimum second point of contact, or else he's going to go off. And was it a good thing? Was it actually, was it a blessing in disguise that Charbonnet went down? Because then it wasn't a split load in the backfield. It was a heavy dose of Kenneth Walker running the ball and catching the ball. And guess what? He went off.
How many plays? Like I counted at least four where the run's gone wrong, and he's run into the back of his guard because his guard's been overwhelmed, and you're thinking, well, this is like a 4-yard loss. No, he just like jittered round and made it like a 12-yard gain. Like he's impressive, I've got to say.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to ever be brought down at first point of contact. And I mean, most running backs aren't, but he almost doesn't even seem to hesitate with the first point of contact. It doesn't seem to hinder him at all. So yeah, the Patriots had no answer to that. And we said it, that Seattle are a pretty multiple team that they can win in a few different ways. And this didn't need to be a Sam Darnold game. This didn't really need to be a Shaheed in the return game kind of game. But then the punter was dominant with field position. The place kicker obviously made the field goals. So special teams matters. And yeah, Seattle they're just a very, very, very good team. But don't overreact to the Patriots. They had a great season, and they were 4-13 last year. They were picking what, second or third overall. So let's not overreact. Let's just go, right, it's year one of Vrabel and this journey. So we'll see. But the schedule's a little bit different for the Patriots next year. I did have to look it up, and it's different. I'll just say that. So yeah, quite a few thoughts in there, but that's my initial take of the game.
Okay. Yeah, shout out my Filipino brother, Jason Myers. I think they said he'd scored the most points as a kicker in Super Bowl history. So one for the kickers.
I heard some calls for him to be the MVP.
Yeah.
Punter as well, because it was that kind of game, the punter or the kicker, but Walker, yeah, he deserved.
I was happy to see Walker get it, and it's a shame that the touchdown that wasn't because of the hold, because that when I saw him break through, I'm thinking that this is written in the stars for him. But like I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, they just came after that left side of the offensive line from the get-go. And unfortunately for Will Campbell and I think the guard's name was Wilson, they got to Drake May on the first 3 drives, and he never settled after that. He was looking over his shoulder. I think Julian Love was on the sideline mic'd up, and he was basically saying, Drake May's he's giving us tells because when he's about to throw it, he's not being assertive enough. He's sort of questioning it. He's saying, is it open? Yeah, okay, it's open. I'm going to throw it. It's too late because Seattle were jumping on that. And my favorite play of the game was this dude, Riley Mills, the rookie from Notre Dame, on the D line of Seattle. He took the left guard, Wilson, with his right arm, bull rushed him back, and then grabbed Drake May with his left arm and pulled them both down for the sack. I was like, who is this guy? Seattle, even though I'm a 49ers fan, well worthy Super Bowl champions. But as you said, I also don't like these like instant comparisons. Are they as good as Legion of Boom? Well, can we just let them celebrate, let them be, champions for like a week or longer? Like, anyway, I was really disappointed with Josh McDaniels. I thought that there would be a lot more creativity to their offense. And I almost think that maybe Vrabel said, we're not going to put ourselves in danger. And it's almost like they were banking on the mistake. They had seen that in previous rounds and were like, CJ Stroud had 5 turnovers. Stidham had a big turnover. We're going to play safe and force Don to do the same thing. And on occasions in that first half, they nearly did, but Darnold did great, I thought, in these broken play action plays where he's run the play action and the Patriots are in the backfield. And, we saw it with Stroud. Oh, I'm still going to make the throw. No, you're not. It's been tipped and it's a pick six. Stidham fumble that basically set up the touchdown in that game. Darnold did a great job of, okay, at times getting a bit lucky, but overall, protecting the football well, not making a mistake in the game. And his time came later in the game where they said, we're going to run an outside zone. No, we're not. This is a Shanahan special, if you like, play action with a tight end crosser. And that got them really the knockout punch because it was close. The scoreline was close, even though the game didn't feel close at all. So, I mean, as we look forward, I'm looking at Seattle and I did a bit of deep diving into this team. And you have to say that their success has been built on the drafting and the hiring by their GM, John Schneider. And like he's now responsible for two, really dominant defenses, if you like. I'm not going to compare them, but just in a vacuum in their years, Legion of Boom when they won the Super Bowl, dominant. This year's Seattle defense, dominant. And I just want to read out to you, Paul, their drafts over the last 4 years. So 2022, first round, Charles Cross. Second round, Kenneth Walker and Boy Maffei. 2023 is when they really hit. They really hit. First round, Devon Witherspoon, JSN. Second round, Edge, Derek Hall, and Charbonnet. 2024, they got their nose tackle in Byron Murphy, who had 2 sacks, fumble recovery in this Super Bowl. And then last year, first round, they got Zabel. And of course, your man in the second round, Eman.
Okay, so which of those draft picks were as a result of the Russell Wilson trades? Because I know it was Witherspoon, Cross, and there's one more, I think. Maybe 2 more.
I think it's 2 more. It's probably one of Maffei or Kenneth Walker and one of Derek Hall and Charbonnet.
I think it's Derek Hall. Yeah, but anyway, like they got out ahead of the Russell Wilson thing like early, and talk about maximize the value before like the cliff, before he like dove off that cliff. Yeah, like you've almost doubled up your assets in terms of picks in the draft. And not only that, you've smashed the picks that you've then had to make. And look at the picks that they've made. So they've gone left tackle, corner, like interior offensive line last year was able, running back, like wide receiver.
D-line.
Yeah, they've hit in multiple areas. It's not like, oh, the Steelers are good at drafting wide receivers. Okay, cool. But, need him to play offensive line. Like the Seahawks have hit in multiple positions.
And not
And
only that, like in between all of that, they've made some savvy trades. So like almost like New Englandish. They went and got Ernest Jones from the Titans. They went and got Leonard Williams from the Jets, and then they pick up Demarcus Lawrence in free agency. So I've got to give it to John Schneider. Like he is one of the top tier GMs for sure.
this year, Shaheed at the trade deadline,
Shaheed, yeah,
like yeah, they've he has done a great job, and yeah, second Super Bowl with a different head coach and a different quarterback, and none of the cast from the Legion of Boom are still there. So he's a special general manager. Um,
it must have been tough as well, considering the relationship with Pete Carroll. Like it would have been easy to just continue, and
yeah,
that was probably a tough decision for him to say, "It's not working anymore. We need something new." And
yeah,
of course, he goes and nails a first-time head coach in Mike McDonald. You know, so tip my hat to him. Like that 4 year stretch has set up this moment.
yeah. To win like that amount of bets or connect on that amount of swings, it's quite impressive
Mm.
in a short space of time and over his lifespan as a GM. Obviously, there's been some misses
Yeah.
overall, but like in the recent past, he smashed it. So, and because of that, as a direct result of the Russell Wilson and hitting on the draft picks, they're quite young as a franchise. They're right up there in terms of cap space. I think they're
Mm.
like in the top five in cap space for next year, projected. So the free agents that they've got, we've got Bryant at safety, Kenneth Walker, Woolen, Reek Woolen at corner, and Shaheed.
Mm.
They can afford all four. They
And
can.
that's if they want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he doesn't pay all four, and I'm thinking maybe the corners, maybe or sorry, the corner or the safety.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
maybe he lets Shaheed walk. You don't know. Like it depends what Shaheed asks for. Would Schneider feel confident in just drafting another receiver?
It's a very strong position to be in to have
Yeah,
like that amount of free agents and the amount of cap space that they got. They got, I believe, Donald's under contract for is it 2 or 3 more?
2 more years. Yeah.
2 more years. So great position, like offensive line, D line. Like Woolen wasn't your dominant corner either.
Yeah.
Bryant, from what I can see, is a supplementary part in the secondary. Like they've got the defensive head coach. The key piece for the Seahawks is going to be find the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But the offense in Seattle seems to be pretty, you're not going to say simple, but you're not going to change anything.
It's play action. Well, it was play action. We'll see what the new coordinator brings. But to me, like it's a non-negotiable. You do have to bring Kenneth Walker back. It's a running back as well. Like even if you pay him top dollar,
Yeah.
you're not breaking the bank like you might be doing in a couple of years for JSN.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's earned himself some pocket change by being the Super Bowl MVP. But yeah, great position for the Seahawks. And when you look at the cap space, it's like, damn, they are going to be around for a while.
Unfortunately for me, they are, I think.
Yep.
But they are losing. So they are losing Klint Kubiak, who
Yeah.
in his press conference he said it was so I was given the choice of do I come back to Seattle or do I go and become the head coach of the Raiders? And it was a no-brainer. And I'm like, really? Like, are you sure I know obviously the choice is head coach in the NFL. You've got to take it. But I'm like, no-brainer. I'm not so certain because you've got it great in Seattle with the roster.
Yeah.
And with the Raiders, well, I mean, let's look at it. You're getting the number one pick, and it, by all accounts, it's I don't know much about him, but it seems like it's going to be the Mendoza kid.
Yeah.
You're gonna pair him. You've got your quarterback. That's great. You're
Yep.
gonna pair him with Bowers, who is a serious talent,
Mhm.
and you got Genty at running back,
Yep.
who he will find ways to make him great, I think. But everything else on the offense is questionable. Specifically, that offensive line has to be dealt with. We saw Ben Johnson, what he did when he went into Chicago. That's the kind of thing that needs to happen with the Raiders, because I know Gino didn't play well, but there was a lot of like, wow, like he has no time. And defensively, there's a lot of question marks because the one superstar player you've got reportedly has told Jay Glazer he's done. Like he's not going to play. We'll see if that really holds true as we go through this offseason. But there's a lot of question marks with this Raiders roster. And so I'm like, can he actually be successful? We'll see, because we saw him last year, or sorry, the year before. He was the OC of the Saints, and for 2 weeks it was historically great, and then it wasn't. So
Well, look, he's done extremely well because his stock has risen so rapidly that he has now taken advantage of when he is at the peak of his negotiating power. And I'd be interested to see what his contract is with the Raiders in a state with no income tax, who, what is it? They're still currently paying four head coaches. So now he's the fifth. Like, and they pay these head coaches handsomely on long contracts. So even if it doesn't go well and he gets fired, he will still be compensated and he could go back to be an OC. You know, he's he's not he hasn't done it for the period of time that Ben Johnson did before him, but he's cashed his chips
yeah,
now. Pardon the pun going to Vegas, but he has gone, I'm number one right now. I'm the most sought after because, yeah, that's the flavor of the NFL, the new offensive genius. It's like,
from the
who's
Shanahan
this
tree,
guy? Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
yeah, and think of it in a positive way. Yeah, he's getting Mendoza, and it's going to be his guy, and he can. He's an offensive coach. He can be with him during his journey, and they're second in the league in cap space with the rookie contract of the quarterback. So that's another 4 years before you have to worry about even a fifth year option. You got a running back already on the roster.
You just need a line. You need a line, and it can change quickly.
Yeah, and Crosby. Say Crosby does want to walk. Okay, cool. Like, well, it's not cool that he wants to walk, but if he does, then you're going to get a king's ransom for him.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you can really like add pieces to this offensive line and receivers and some other players on defense. And maybe it's a trade. Maybe you only entertain trades from teams who have a pass rusher, and kind of a player swap plus picks, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we know Max Crosby is amazing, and I actually would love to see him on a contender. But the positive from the Raiders' point of view, as you said, you could get a big haul for him. If it's not multi-year first rounders, like you said, we'll take your lesser than Max Crosby rusher, and you can throw in some picks as well. So a bit like sort of like the Cowboys, where they let Parsons go. They took Kenny Clark because they wanted to stop the run, but they still got two first rounders. So that sort of package, it might benefit you more than kind of holding on to Max Crosby mentally against his will.
Yeah, I think there's a long way to go with this story.
Yeah.
Like, you know, ew. it'll go back and forth. The Raiders aren't going to do anything drastic. He's still under contract, so we'll see what happens with that. There's a lot of stories between now and the first game of the regular season, so we will see.
There is. And just on that note, I heard something before we came on. Week one apparently is Rams 49ers in Australia. I don't know how that's going to work because they're saying it's going to be televised Sunday afternoon US time. So I'm thinking like, well, what time will that be in Australia? What day will that be on Monday? So we'll see once that gets confirmed. But anyway,
So
that's
you
this.
buys, you get a double buy. Do you get a buy in week two?
I
Like,
don't know because I've heard that the 49ers are also playing in Mexico. So I sure hope we're getting double by.
goodness, you've
What a mess.
been
Anyway,
pimped around the globe, the 49ers.
yeah, like our soft tissue fragility needed something else to deal with.
Yeah.
So we've looked at Seattle. There are 5 quarterbacks who have lost the Super Bowl in year 2. The likes of Brock Purdy and Colin Kaepernick, unfortunately for me. That's so 4 of them have never made it back. The 5th is Drake May, to be continued. What do the Patriots need to improve, do you think? Because they're going to have a first place schedule.
Yep.
And I'm expecting, some of these AFC heavyweights or the regulars to have a resurgence next year.
The Patriots will be fine because they've got Mike Vrabel. Like
Yeah.
they'll be a tough team. They might not be AFC East champs. They might not represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, but they'll be fine. The days of 4-13 are done because head OC and Drake May, like we saw how he beat up on lesser than defenses. And you still play the Dolphins and the Jets twice a year. So, and you'll still be in these games. Like just because the schedule gets tougher.
What do you think's missing though? Like you watch that Super Bowl and yeah, it was very one-sided, but what could have changed that, do you think?
Uh, it was a lot of things. It was not just one thing. It's pretty much the whole offensive line needs to be revamped. They need more playmakers on. I think at linebacker they need some guys. Like the corners are okay. The interior defensive line is pretty good, but maybe some more just team speed. Like I remember Spillane, however you say, from his time at the Steelers. Like he's a thumper, but he's not getting sideline to sideline that quick.
Yeah.
And some weapons and some more weapons on the outside when your guys are like Douglas and Diggs and Kayshon Boutte. Like you've got to like just have some difference making talent at wide receiver.
Even at running back, I felt like, Stevenson just couldn't. I mean, a lot of it was to do with the line, but he's not Kenneth Walker, for example. Maybe they feel like Travion Henderson can get there. He's only in year 1, but you're right. I looked at the receivers before the game, and that's what my thought was. They are overmatched. They've got to get better weapons.
Yeah, so there's a few areas that the Patriots need. It's not just okay, we'll sort out our left tackle and we'll be good. No, you've got a few areas, but you've got head coach, OC, quarterback. So the overall picture is good. You just need to make the right decisions personnel-wise in a few areas, and you'll be fine. And you might not win the number of games because the schedules will get harder naturally as as your ranking improves. But that's okay. It's okay to be in tough games. This year you weren't in tough games, and then when you were in a tough game, it wasn't a game. So
Yeah. Yeah, you could win 11 games next year and actually be better than your 14-3 team.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Have you seen the schedule? Shall I go through the schedule?
I've seen a little bit, so yeah, please run it down for us.
Okay, so coming to New England are obviously the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and then the Broncos, the Raiders, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Steelers.
Mm.
And then they go to obviously Bills, Dolphins, Jets,
Mhm.
Bears, Lions, Chiefs, Chargers, Jaguars, and a Super Bowl rematch. They go to Seattle.
Wow, that road list is brutal.
Yeah. Seattle, Chargers, cross country, like Bears, that could be in that could be in December.
Mm.
Lions still always tough. Kansas City still got Mahomes.
You're getting basically a resurgent Lions and Chiefs potentially.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
you know what, I hope they don't make Seattle Patriots the opening game. Like I hope they choose a different game because they've done it before where they've chosen the Super Bowl as the opening game. I think it was Broncos Panthers.
Yeah.
That actually turned out to be a good game, but I don't want to see that because we might see what we saw again.
I don't think they will
Yeah,
because it wasn't a close contest.
yeah,
I think if the public were itching for, I want to see that game again. Oh, I really hope it's Seahawks Patriots to open the season. Then they might do it because they love the ratings. But to be honest, it was a bit of a blowout. So
yeah.
I
It's a shame that 49ers Rams is week one because I would have loved to kick off the season with Seahawks Rams.
Yeah, because they had the options. I mean, you're in the NFC West. You could have had Seattle, San Francisco, Seattle against the Rams again. Seattle against the Rams again would have been great to open up. Like, because that was one of my favorite games of the season, the NFC title game.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't have wanted Seattle 49ers. Let's just put it that way.
No, 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 you caught them cold. Well, you didn't catch them cold. Obviously, you earned the win, but like they were fully in strides week one.
They were a different class to us. No, no excuses, no bones about it. They were the far better team.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously you had your injuries, but like,
Yeah. So I was also thinking about. I watched NFL Honors last week before the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford was named MVP, and I think that's justified. There's a lot of people that said no, Drake May is the MVP, and you know me, like I'm not a Drake May hater. I love him. I think he's got a lot of potential, but you've seen it kind of like in 2 weeks in a way. Stafford played at a higher level than Drake May, and he was and well, let me put it this way: Drake May played at a high level against lesser opposition. Stafford played at a high level against elite opposition, and the 3 games that Stafford played against Seattle combined for 961 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. And one of those, he went for 457 with 3 touchdowns in a loss. So, like, it's weird with the Rams because I feel like it's deja vu. We're sort of saying, well, the Rams gave the Seahawks the best of anyone this year. And I'm pretty certain everyone said the same thing last year. The Rams gave the Eagles, the best of what anyone could give them.
yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking, what do the Rams need to do to get over the hump? Like they're like this close. 2 years in a row. You know, is it just, they've come up against two great teams and they've, they've really just lost very, very close games. What is it about the Rams that, what do they need? Like, it's to me, it's like that hard question. They're an A minus or they're an A already. Like, how do they get to that S tier where they're like the star team?
That's a really tough question for the
Yeah.
Rams because they, yeah, they are right there, like you said, with the Eagles and now with the Seahawks. And it's literally the result of it comes down to a handful of plays.
Yeah.
Really, the Seahawks game, the 2 point play and the punt return, it comes down almost to that. But I think with the Rams, I think we did a great job of identifying a differentiator between the Seahawks and the Rams, and that's special teams.
Yeah.
If the Rams, if I'm involved in the Rams personnel department, I'm looking at special teams and say Shaheed does. I mean, imagine they got Shaheed, they took him out of Seattle into LA. Like, what a difference that could make. Not saying that could happen, but that would be interesting. Like, but yeah, they just got to do a better job in special teams. Like, I haven't got the stats in front of me, but Seattle are like number one, and the Rams are right towards the bottom. And you saw it in the games that they played against each other, and it does make a huge difference when your team
Yeah.
is that elite and drive stop and kickoffs, and it's just huge. So
Like if Shaheed doesn't score that touchdown, I think the Rams probably win the game.
yeah,
Like I know there's like a few things like the 2 point weird play and all that sort of stuff, but it just felt like if just one of those things didn't happen, the Rams win the game.
yeah,
But
and
it's like you said, it happened all year. Like the Eagles game, they had two field goals to win to ice the game, and they were both blocked. And I'm pretty certain in the Niners lost in Levi South, there was a blocked kick in that game as well. So it's a litter of mistakes which led to McVay firing the special teams coordinator during the season late on.
yeah. So and I think it was literally that if the Rams had beaten the Seahawks in that one game, then they'd be the one seeds.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Battle games in LA instead of in Seattle, and that could be the difference.
Yeah.
The Seahawks lost the time that they went to LA in the regular season. Yeah, it was another great game, and Darnold had the turnovers, but you just don't know. Like, they just got to tidy it up on special teams. That's what I'd say, and probably get some more guys in the secondary, some
Yeah.
corners. Forbes, I like Forbes, but help him. Bring some
Mm,
like yeah, just add some guys at corner. You need big guys at corner. Look at the Seahawks corners. Look at the guys in their secondary. They're dominant. So like, but the Rams are right there. Like, Stafford's coming back. Obviously, McVay's going nowhere. That scheme, like the running backs there, the guys on defense. I love Verse on defense, and yeah, I love his attitude. He was asked about the Super Bowl, and he just went, "Damn, I hate the Seahawks." I love that. I love that. Like, this is going to be a rivalry for quite a few years. Seattle and the Rams, and the 49ers are still in that division too. So this is a great division. But yeah, to answer your question, Stafford is the justified MVP. I didn't think it was a question, but obviously Drake May with the record and people were entertaining it, but Stafford had a much tougher schedule and he threw for 4,700 yards against tougher defenses. I don't think it was close. And I didn't understand the voting. I thought it would be more dominant, more weighted towards Stafford. But
It was by one vote.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
what
agree. I agree.
Justin Herbert. So that was the tying vote. And why is it? Why are there 48 votes? Why is it not an odd number of voters? So you could have a tie.
Well, it's always been historically 50, so that's interesting. Maybe two. Maybe they've dropped two out.
Maybe I've got it wrong. I heard I've got it in my memory 24, 23, and 1.
Oh, there was someone else that got votes, Josh Allen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So maybe Josh Allen got like six.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
Just on the subject of NFL honors, Drew Brees, I'm representing today. Drew Brees was inducted into the Hall of Fame first ballot. We touched on it we touched on it a couple of weeks ago, and I just sensed maybe just a bit of doubt from you on whether he should be first ballot. So I just wanted to make my case for Drew Brees on why it's justified that he's first ballot. So first of all, just looking, with the eye test, great player, great professional, great leader. But it's the Super Bowl that he won. He won the Super Bowl with not with a top 10 defense. And there's many quarterbacks that can't say that. Even the great Tom Brady, as I'm told. He's never won a Super Bowl without a top 10 defense. And the thing that I like about Breeze's Super Bowl as well is that he won it with the number one offense. So it really was on, on his side of the ball. And in a time where, I think we've been reminded the last 2 years, but certainly in those days, defenses won championships. And he didn't really get a lot of top 10 defenses in his career. I think the stat was 10% of his 20 plus year career, he had a top 10 defense. Whereas, like someone like Brady was up there at the 75, 80% mark. So I'm glad that he's in. I do think that at times maybe he was overlooked. And some of it was timing as well. Like one of his best years, 2011, unfortunately got superseded by a virtuoso from Aaron Rodgers when I think he went for 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That team went 16-1. So when you look at Brees, I think for large parts of his career, we talked about him as a top five quarterback. And stat wise, he's second in basically every quarter, in every category.
Yeah.
Passing yards, passing touchdowns. Okay, he's a bit lower down. Passer rating, I think he's seventh. To me, it's justified. Do you think it's justified?
Yeah, I do. Like he brought a Super Bowl to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like first guy to ever do that. So and he probably suffered from being in the generation of Brady and Manning and Rodgers. And yeah, the Saints weren't always a great team. So
Yeah.
they were a really entertaining team to watch, from what I remember. Like with Peyton and Breeze, and that offense was really explosive.
Yeah.
But the defense, yeah, like you said, the defense often was not good. And then the one time that the defense was good, then they had the bounty gate after the event. So there is that. There is that cloud, but he had nothing to do with that. And I don't think that really had any defining outcome on that season. Brett Favre still went back into the game despite getting killed. And yeah, Brees is a first ballot. I mean, I don't know really what it equates to being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, does how many guys get in per year, or is it? I don't know. It does it depend on the class that you're in. It seems to depend on the class that you're in.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, in fairness, it'd be rude for me not to mention it that Larry Fitzgerald also went in first ballot with him.
okay.
But I look at I think it was five this year. So Luke Kuechly went in, but he wasn't first ballot.
Hmm.
I think this is his second attempt.
Right.
So there's guys out there like, I know it's been a hot topic, obviously, for obvious reasons. But there's guys out there where you say, like, maybe me biasly, Patrick Willis had to wait a few more years than I think he should have. So it is all about timing, I think. You're right. Like,
Yeah. So I don't. Some. Yeah. It's. I think it's. It is not luck, but yeah, how many years out of the league, and that's when you're first going to be eligible for Hall of Fame enshrinement. And I think we just get caught up in this first ballot, not first ballot. Like, just if they end up being Hall of Fame, then is that enough? I don't know.
mm,
The Belichick one was shocking because it's Belichick. Like,
mm,
but for Drew Brees, yeah, he deserves it. He really does deserve it. And yeah, it's just the shame. I enjoyed watching him play. It was a shame that the Saints couldn't help him win more Super Bowls with help on defense. But he brought a Super Bowl to New Orleans and
yeah,
helped, you know, that city recover from,
troubled times. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how much to believe. Like when I saw him being interviewed, he said that he chose New Orleans over Miami, but then I've heard conflicting side of that story from the Dolphins that he failed some kind of physical.
because of his shoulder. Yeah,
Yeah, because he was going to go to the Dolphins with Nick Saban.
wow.
And looking at it, New Orleans has just been wrecked by a hurricane. And Nick Saban is taking over the Dolphins. But Brees, I don't know. I don't know the truth. I just heard two versions of the same story. So somebody's lying. But it doesn't matter in the end because he chose or he ended up at the Saints and he brought a Super Bowl there. And it was a great story, like when they, because it wasn't always plain like an easy road. They had to go on the road. They were nomads for a couple of years. They were playing in like college stadiums and they're playing all over the place. And it wasn't even like a one regular spot. They were
Mm,
like almost like in a couple of places in the same year. They
yeah,
have a regular home for I don't know, can't remember how long it was. It was at least 2 years. So yeah, it wasn't straightforward. And then yeah, that game where they came back to the Superdome,
yeah.
crazy. It was crazy.
Blocked punt.
Yeah, they blocked the punt, and yeah, and that stadium's always been crazy, and that's what I remember the Saints for is that generation of Breeze and Peyton and the dome and the atmosphere in there and that high flying offense. So, and he brought them a Super Bowl. And when I first started watching NFL, they sucked. So, yeah, credit to him. He was a great player, and he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. This first ballot thing, I don't know. What does it mean? I don't know. I think it's just the prestige of it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think for quarterback, you probably have more first ballots than other positions. Because I was just thinking about receiver, and I'm pretty certain Larry Fitzgerald is only like the fifth first ballot um, Hall of Famer at receiver because you've got Largent,
Yeah.
the GOAT, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Megatron, and Larry Fitzgerald.
Mm.
Those are your five. And again, we have qualms with TO, but those are your five. There's not that many. So I think it does hold prestige.
Has T.O. made it into the Hall yet?
He has, and I think they spitefully did it in the year that Randy Moss went in first ballot to sort of say, with whatever's going on in the Hall of Fame, they're like, we're putting you in with a first ballot Hall of Famer and Randy Moss just to spite you. Like, you know, anyway, that there's something odd going on in the Hall of Fame. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, before we look to the future, let's have a bit of fun, Paul. We're gonna sum up every team's season in one sentence, or however many words you want to put in. So I think let's start with the Super Bowl champs, NFC West. I'll say the team name. You give me your response. I'll give you my response, and we'll roll from there. So quite simply, the Seattle Seahawks.
Answered every single question.
Dominated, yeah, just dominated, embarrassed teams. The Los Angeles Rams.
I don't know what they need to fix. Maybe special teams.
Hmm. They are literally knocking on the door. They are this close. My San Francisco 49ers.
Can we please just have not so much bad luck with injuries?
Shanahan's best coaching year overcame crazy amount of adversity.
Huh?
The Arizona Cardinals.
Here we go again.
A complete mess.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, okay, we'll move on to NFC North. The Chicago Bears.
This could be very interesting in the next few years.
Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams have arrived. The Detroit Lions.
You need to find an answer at play caller long term.
Don't panic, but figure out the mistakes you made. The Green Bay Packers.
They're right there, provided their stars stay healthy.
Better than their record shows. Stop playing with your food in games. The Minnesota Vikings.
What what have you done at quarterback? We're gonna find out.
You need an answer at quarterback this year. Sit JJ McCarthy. NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Uh, where are they going to find another play caller?
Underachieved for their talent level. The Dallas Cowboys.
Can they make the most of these draft picks to catch the Eagles?
Mm, yeah, I'm stumped with the Cowboys. they have to fix this defense.
With the Cowboys, I think as well, you got what you hoped for. You almost engineered this Parsons situation. So now, over to you. You've got the draft picks. Okay, let's see in 2 or 3 years' time who came out on top of the Parsons Cowboys trade with the Packers. So,
Yeah.
because they could have done it and they didn't, and it was public and it was ugly, but it's done. So now you've got the result of it. You've got the picks. Okay, over to you. And the Eagles are going through a transition. The Giants are still the Giants. I know they've got Harbaugh. They'll probably be better, but they're still the Giants. And the Commanders, I lost count of how many people got fired on the Commanders. So Commanders are going through another transition on the fly. So
Well, there you go. Washington Commanders.
Who's been fired? I don't even know. Don't play Jaden when he's not healthy. He's not fully healthy. Did Kingsbury get fired? I'm not even sure.
Well, Kingsbury is now on the Rams coaching staff.
Right. And the DC got fired, didn't he? But Quinn's still there as head coach.
Quinn's still there. Yeah.
I mean, the roster's just a mess. You've got the
my message is get younger.
Yeah, you've got no speed. You're really old. You've just got I mean, Bobby Wagner, like we're talking about the Legion of Boom. I think he's the last surviving member of the Legion of Boom who yeah, bless him. He's a great player, but I think his days in the NFL are like behind him now.
Yeah.
And I'll play middle linebacker every down at this.
Nope.
So yeah, Commanders just turn it over, but you have a quarterback.
Yeah. The New York Football Giants.
They will be better with Harbaugh. How good is Jackson Dart? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I hope to see them healthy this year. Like it was not the same without Neighbors and Scatterboo.
They're also a bit of a myth, the Giants, like because they're in New York, so they get media attention. Oh, well, the roster. Okay. I've seen a lot of rosters on paper that are brand names. Cool. Comes down to production. Well, the Giants and Joe Shane seems to be a myth. Well, Joe Shane's done a great job, except obviously the meme like Saquon video, but Joe Shane seems to have survived beyond with a myth that he's really good at drafting, except the Saquon personnel move. Okay, yeah, he is maybe on paper, but paper doesn't produce wins in the NFL.
Have you seen who Harbaugh has hired as OC?
It's got to be Roman, hasn't it? He follows him everywhere.
It's not. It is Matt Nagy, who is he's a gadget play offense. Like it's not. There's no substance to it, at least in the past. So I have questions on that one.
Yeah, I don't love that. I don't know how that's going to suit Jackson Dart, but he was on the Chiefs, wasn't he, Nagy? But really, the Chiefs gig is kind of why did the Chiefs let him go?
Yeah, and before that, he was Bears head coach, and as I said, it was a gimmicky kind of offense to me.
Yeah,
you can't live off that.
We'll see, but Harbaugh will make them. Obviously, he's hard ass. He'll make them better.
Yeah,
be buttoned up. They won't make as many mistakes. They'll probably at least double their win total, but the OC could make the difference to the next level, and help Jackson Dart become a superstar in the NFL. But yeah, Titans to me are just a bit of a myth. Like, oh, they're really talented, are they? I don't know. Maybe,
They've won 8 games in what is it like 5 years, and most of those wins have come in week 17 or 18.
but they're really talented. The roster's really talented. Okay, cool. How about win some games?
Yeah. NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Have the division have the division caught up to you? Are you still capable of winning this?
Mm. It's another one where I say defensive-minded head coach has to fix this lackluster defense.
They really missed Liam Cohen as well towards the end of the year, and I think they. I didn't. Not saying that I wanted him to get fired, but I think they had an opportunity to,
Have a refresh.
yeah, turn it over. Like
Yeah.
in your division, like the Panthers are not anything to be worried about, or the Falcons really, but they've caught up to you. I'd be worried about that. You should be winning this division kind of by a couple of games.
Mm. Yeah.
Disappointing for the Bucks overall. I know you had some injuries and everything, but like you should be winning that division. And the late season, what did they go like 1-5 or 1-6 or
He
something?
was 1-7.
1-7 to round out, and to see
Crazy.
the Panthers win that division and host a playoff game, like disappointing.
The Carolina Panthers.
Don't get carried away with winning the division. Think long term about your quarterback position for the sake of your future.
I hate to hit the same point. He is such a high character person, but I still think Bryce Young is holding you back. The New Orleans Saints.
Better than expected. Tyler Shuck, he competes. He can throw. He I think they could be a scrappy team.
I need to see their cap situation.
It's not good, but it's not, for the first time, I think, ever, they're not worst.
Wow, that's something.
40, minus 40 mil. And I think you'd know better than me. I think that's the tail end of the Derek Carr still. I think the Derek Carr is still.
There's some Cam Jordan and some Demario Davis in there.
Right.
So now it's just a collection. But they're like my message would be no more restructures. Just you're nearly there. Like you're nearly back to like
Zero.
we can build a team again.
Nearly back to zero.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, the Falcons are just. The James Pierce situation sums up the Atlanta Falcons. To make a trade knowing that he has character concerns is the Atlanta Falcons.
We're gonna find out if Stefanski is a good head coach or not.
He is a good head coach. Anybody that can have his head above water in Cleveland deserves some respect. Stefanski's a good head coach. I know he gets some shit because two-time coach of the year. It's that, yeah, but it's in Cleveland. Maybe the coach of the year thing was a little bit exaggerated, but he still was respectable in Cleveland.
That's fair. That is fair. And I suppose I could reframe it as Stefanski's run game with Bijan Robinson,
Mm.
that's going to be fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Penix's injury is pretty brutal, isn't it? So he might not,
Ooh,
yeah, he might not be a week one starter.
because it was later in the season. Yeah. And they're obviously not holding on to Cousins. So
Well, I don't know. His cousin's still under contract. What was the contract?
I think he's now at a friendly point where guaranteed money is not an issue. I think.
Right.
So they could move on from him.
Right. I saw him do the media tour. I haven't watched the interview, but I saw him, he was doing the media tour at the Super Bowl, saying
Yeah.
he's available for all potential options. It's like, kind of
I
sounds,
bet you are.
kind of sounds to me like he's shopping for more money again.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a possibility he is a bridge back in Minnesota.
Yeah. Just please, no Pittsburgh Steelers. Please, 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 please.
All right. AFC East, New England Patriots.
Calm down. You've done better than I thought you would have.
Ahead of schedule. Buffalo Bills.
New voices. Can you fill out this roster with more talent?
Be aggressive in getting some stars on this team. The Miami Dolphins.
I think I think the head coach was unlucky. I think this team is destined to never win big.
This feels like not a tank year, but we're accepting we're not going to be good this year.
Yeah, they're not. So Quinn Ewers, Tua's going to get cut, isn't he?
They can't cut him.
They can't cut him, so he's just a lame duck. And Quinn Ewers, so they're not drafting high enough to take a quarterback. Quinn Ewers is there. It's going to be cheap. They're going to be terrible next year.
Mm.
They're going, yeah, they're going to be terrible.
They need to find someone that's going to take Tua, and I've said it a while ago. They're going to have to give Tua and say, look, we'll give you a second round pick to take Tua off us with some of his money.
I still don't think it would happen though.
No, it's very unlikely.
Yeah,
They're certainly not trading him. Like, it is literally like a fully one-sided trade. Here's Tua and here's some picks. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like Miami's just a confusing one, like because
Hill's out of guaranteed money, so he can be cut.
yeah,
In fact, he will be cut because his number is way up there.
yeah, yeah. It's a shame because I like the Dolphins. I think they had a real good shot.
They had a great run, yeah.
Yeah.
New York Jets.
I don't know how to summarize the Jets. I really don't. It's um I wouldn't keep the head coach. I'd at least start with an offensive head coach. And when the team quits on you in season, you're done as a coach.
Mm.
You're done. You're done. And I don't know with the Jets, like the only way you could summarize the Jets is with that meme, that kid coming out.
I hate this team.
Yeah. Because if you say to any normal person, like who's not bullshitting you, how would you fix the Jets? They'll go, it's not a straightforward fix. It's not it's not a short PowerPoint presentation. It's complex. But I don't think the head coach, like, if he's involved in a team that played the way they did when they quit, then he shouldn't be there. At least that, like, I don't know.
Defensive head coach, and that was your defense. Like,
Zero picks in 17 games, zero picks.
like you kind of thought, well, maybe the offense will suck, but the defense should be good, right? So the defense had better be good this year, would be my message. Um, AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars, London's team.
They've done better than I thought, and they're going to be a contender.
Feel like it was a real missed opportunity this year, though. Like, they could have made the Super Bowl this year.
Hmm.
The Indianapolis Colts.
I don't understand how the general manager is still employed. How you can make that many mistakes at quarterback and still be employed, I just don't get it.
Don't overpay Daniel Jones, would be my message. Because you got no picks anyway. The Tennessee Titans.
This could be interesting. I hope that Salah has a good run at it. I hope he's there in 2 years' time.
I'm excited to see Cam Ward in a Brian Dable scheme. The Houston Texans.
Is CJ Stroud fixable? Because the rest of the roster's right there.
I have the same question. There's no other question with the Texans. Can you get rookie CJ Stroud back? Or at least not panic mode CJ Stroud of year 3. The AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs.
You might need to run a whole different offense. Can you evolve?
To some degree, burn it down. Like, you can't continue to pay Travis Kelce 17 million per year. It's time for a refresh. The Los Angeles Chargers.
This could be fun this year with the OC and the head coach. Draft offensive line and just keep drafting linemen.
I hope the offensive tackles come back to full form, because this could be explosive. The Denver Broncos.
Mm. Can you get some improvement out of Bo Nix? So he's a top 10 quarterback. If he's a top 10 quarterback, you can win the AFC.
They got very unlucky
Yeah.
with that injury. I think they would have been in the Super Bowl.
And they would have been more competitive in the Super Bowl, but they still probably would have lost the Super Bowl.
Agreed. That would have been another rematch. Another Super Bowl rematch. The Los Angeles Raiders. Sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Is there some hope finally?
It is a new era. Let Klint Kubiak spread his wings. I'm talking to you, Tom Brady. And that leaves us with the AFC North, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Can the defense be this bad this many years in a row?
Ownership, just stop being so complacent with the generational quarterback you have. The Cleveland Browns.
What can go wrong? I don't know. Um, with the Browns, I think it's one more year of Deshaun, one more year of paying your dues.
Maybe there's offensive hope with Todd Monken, but losing Schwartz is a crushing blow. The Baltimore Ravens.
You asked for it. Now over to you.
Jesse Minter, this is your moment. And lastly, your Pittsburgh Steelers, Paul.
With will the Steelers be a 500 team again? Will we see some improvement on offense?
I want the Steelers to not make sideways moves this offseason like they did last season. So that's every team. And while we're on the subject of the Steelers, Paul, there was a report over the weekend. The Steelers want Aaron Rodgers back next year.
Yeah.
The report said that the players were basically unanimous in that thought. I want to get your thoughts, but I'll give you mine from outside of this fan base, outside of Steeler Nation. As much as I love Rodgers, I want to see the Steelers be aggressive. I want you to go and get Malik Willis because I'm a Malik Willis believer. And I know it's probably not going to happen, but that's what I want for your Steelers.
Yeah, that would be going against the Steelers' mentality. And Malik Willis does look promising, I agree, but he's the hot commodity free agent quarterback who hasn't done it over a long period. And Aaron Rodgers has done it over a long period, and he's familiar, and they clearly like each other. If you look at Rodgers' stats, they're actually not terrible this season as well. And it's interesting with McCarthy going there. And yeah, so I think Rodgers will be back. He gives them the best opportunity to win. And yeah, I think they're going to do that because they're not going to be in a position to draft a quarterback. So yeah, I just hope that it's not. I don't want to see the same offense. If he has time, then I'm all for it. But if it's the same offense and Rodgers is coming back to that and it's really short throws, then I don't want to see it. I'd rather see Malik Willis if it's going to be the same scheme. But if it's an improvement, then yeah. Yeah. Mike McCarthy does change offenses. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, because it's like, is Mike McCarthy an upgrade on Arthur Smith? I say yeah.
Yeah.
But it's what I said to you over the last month or two. If Rodgers is coming back, the Steelers have to stack the deck. And yeah, you've always got to add to your offensive line, but I want to see a difference maker at running back. I want to see a legit number 2 receiver because you've got an abundance of tight ends. Like, let's get that right. I think maybe Darnell Washington's a free agent, but I'm sure you could bring him back. But yeah, Darnell Washington, Johnny Smith, Pat Fryermuth.
Mhm.
Your tight end room is loaded, but receiver, I think there's less than DK or bust, and that's not good for DK. You've seen with other teams when they've got that legit number two, their number one is kind of he's got freedom, or at least your number two is going to eat. But yeah, if Rodgers is coming back, which is not my outside of the Steelers' preferred option, you've got to stack the deck. But I just think that DK and Rodgers, it doesn't quite make sense. Rodgers wants to do things that don't play to DK, whereas I would love to see Malik Willis with that arm just, take some shots to DK.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting with Willis, but they're not going to do that.
No.
I,
So stack the deck.
it's too hopeful. Like Rodgers is going to come back. He's going to do a similar kind of cap team friendly kind of deal. What was it,
Mm.
10 million last year? And
Yeah.
be something similar. They can re-sign their guys. They can go out and get some. They've got some cap space. I think,
Brees Hall, go and get him.
yeah. But do you need Brees Hall? Is Brees Hall? It, for me, it just goes around the the offensive line needs
Yeah.
maybe another tackle. And say Amalu's getting really old, so you need a guard. So you need one guard and one tackle. The center's in place, and the right tackle's good. But yeah, and you need a receiver. So you do need to spend some money.
Agreed. Agreed. And
You
then we'll
know,
see on the
like this is the number one paid defense in the NFL. So where's the money going? It's going on the defense, not on the offense.
I was gonna say, is there anyone that you would not like want to see go on the defense, but you'd be kind of like it's okay for us to part ways? Because there's a lot of expensive players on this defense, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be devastated if Jalen Ramsey won
Yeah.
traded, which fits his character. He might. Um, there's rumors that Patrick Queen wants out as well. I'd be a bit more upset if he did go. He's a good member of this defense.
There's a big cap saving on him if he goes.
Oh yeah. He's well paid, and I hate saying it, but TJ is potentially replaceable now.
If an offer came in, maybe it's a year too late for that. But if the right offer came in, like the Steelers want picks at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
he's not played to his cap number last year, and we've got Herbig in town, Herbig and Highsmith. They work well because they rotate, so they spot each other. So could they do it if TJ wasn't in the building? So it's all on them almost every single down. So that'd be interesting, but TJ's paid a lot.
There's a difference this year though. TJ is going to have a full off season.
Mm.
Like it was the classic contract. I'm not at practice, and he had a hangover from that. I saw it with Bosa with the Niners. I think the same happened with TJ. So if he does stay, like I think you will get a better TJ this year simply because he's going to have that full off season program, and it does matter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, well I think that is it for this week, Paul. Unless there's anything else that you want to talk about.
No, we'll get some ideas for next week.
For sure, for sure. We've got the run up to free agency now. Like the draft's down the road, but free agency, that is going to be our next focus. So
Yeah, I've started to pay attention to team cap space, free agents upcoming. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
We will see you next week.